Hello and welcome to Model Train Fun. My name is Bo Jensen and today we are going to look at the brake module together with the signal. So whenever the signal turns red, we would like a locomotive to actually brake nicely in front of the signal. And remember, the benefit with the brake module is that the locomotive will still have power, so there will still be light and there will still be sound, so it's more natural in front of the signal compared to the stop section. In order to connect to your signals, you have to go back and find a wire that was originally in the packaging for your signals. It's a 3-wire one. There's one purple and what looks like two red wires on there. They are actually red on one side and then they have another color on the other side. One is red brown and the other one is red green. However, I warn you, it's hard to figure out which is which. And what's even worse is the same plug is used both for the semaphore and the light signal, but it's wired differently. The purple is the same, but the two red are actually opposite each other on the two signals. In addition to this wire you need to go back and find in your packaging, you also need a 16-volt power supply. So here I got a Viessmann 5200. That's a 16-volt AC power supply because you need a 16-volt AC power supply. You can also, if you have in your collection some of the old Märklin analog transformers, you can also use those because they produce for light, so that's the brown and yellow there, they will also produce 16 volt. But in essence, you should be able to use any power supply. It just needs to be able to give enough power to the locomotive and potential cars you have parked on the braking section. Which probably means you need something like half an amp to a whole amp or something just to be on the safe side. Finally, I should say I am using the Märklin brake module, that is Märklin 72442. That one has the new type of connectors that has kind of flanges on the side on the male connector. There's another connector which is the 72441. That one actually works exactly the same. The only difference is the type of connectors you can connect to it. And go back to the previous video about the brake module, so episode 12A, to see all the numbers for the connectors you need to buy as well. I will put a link in the description and there will be a link up in the corner here as well. Enjoy the video. Let me start by making a short summary of how the braking module works. Don't forget you can go back to the beginner episode 12A in order to get all the details of how to troubleshoot and all the good advice and so on. I'm just going to do a short summary here. So what is it actually the brake module does? Well, it has 3 sections on the track: a transition section, a braking section, and a stop section. If the signal is red, then the idea is that when the train comes, it comes into the braking section, it would automatically brake in front of the light, which is red. Now, if the signal was green, then it would continue. And if the signal then turns green, then the train will continue past it. Now, what is the stop section? Well, the stop section is basically a safety or emergency stop, because you could have trains that didn't manage to brake within the braking section, or some that actually don't understand a braking section and would continue. So that's why you have the stop section here. What is it actually that happens? Well, what actually happens is the brake module tells the locomotive decoder, now you need to brake and now you need to continue. And in order to make that work, the locomotive decoder must support the Märklin brake module. So how is it then connected? Well, I got the 3 sections here. And what is interesting here is each section you need to insulate the center rail or the B or the red. So you see the transition section, there's a black before and after. It needs to be insulated, so that's a completely self-contained section. So there needs to be insulation both towards the layout or the rest of the layout and the braking section. The same thing with the braking section, there needs to be insulated before and after, and the same thing with the stop section. That means that now these three sections don't have any power. So how is that provided? Well, the idea is actually it's the brake module that controls the power in each of these sections, and it does that by providing the red. And for each of the sections, we take a wire from the corresponding symbol on the brake module. So you see here on the brake module there's an S. That red wire goes to the center, or the B, or the red on the transition section. Then there's the triangle going down that indicates the braking section. That one goes to the braking section on the center, the B, the red. And then we have the stop, where there's a red wire going to the center, the B, the red on the stop section. And in this way, the brake module is in total control and will control these sections. Now, which signals can we connect up to the brake module? Well, first of all, it doesn't make sense to connect a signal that isn't or doesn't require the train to stop. So here you see the distance signals. They cannot be connected because you don't have to stop at a distance signal. But if you look at the yard signal, for example, if it's red, you need to stop. If you look at a home signal, and that's any of the home signals, the home block, the home entry, the home exit, or even when you got the combined ones, if the home part of the signal shows red, then you need to stop. And all of these signals can be connected to the brake module. Now, I have looked through all the manuals for all the decoders. If we look at the latest smart signals, the ones that both supports DCC and MFX, all of these, there is in the manual a description on how can you actually connect this to the brake module. And they are all the same, by the way. If we look at the startup, which are dumb signals, they don't have a decoder, so they cannot be connected. Well, you could if you connected it probably with an M84 or M83, but that's not what we're looking at in this episode. Then we have the modern smart signals, the ones that can't do MFX. All of these, well, first of all, they are not being produced anymore. It's only the latest light signals that are being produced. That's why they're in red numbers here. And the reason I'm not saying that they cannot be connected is if you look in the manual, it doesn't say you can connect them, and it doesn't explain how. But they do have the same type of connector as the latest one with the MFX does. So I really don't know if they can be connected. Please, if anybody knows, let me know. Put it in the description below. So in this video, we are going to look at all the light signals, which are the green up here, and those model numbers. If we go look at the semaphore signals, we have it the same way. The distant ones, you're not required to stop. The train is not required to stop. So in this case, they cannot be connected to the brake module. The interesting thing is with the yard, it has a stop. That should be able to be connected. The manual does not say how to do that, neither for the latest with MFX or for the previous generation that does not have MFX here at the bottom line. The funny thing is they look exactly like the home block and home entry signals. So it looked like it can be done. It's not in the manual, so I don't know if it can be done. Again, if anybody knows, let me know in the description below. For the home block and the home entry signal, they can be connected, both the MFX and non-MFX version. Now, how do we connect it? Let's first look at the light signals. So the light signals and semaphore signals are almost exactly the same, except there is two cables that have been flipped, which can cause some confusion. So be very aware of this and make sure you connect it up. But you can also see it's not necessarily a simple connection. So aware and follow and trace all your wires before you test it out. Make sure you have done everything correctly. Let's start by looking at the signal module. The signal module, or the brake module as it actually is, has a red and a brown where it says signal module. That is actually where you plug in the power, just as we saw in the previous episode. Then, as I explained before, we have 3 red that goes to each of the sections, and they are on the opposite side of the brake module. All right, so good so far. Let's look at the signal then. On the signal connects to power, just as you would expect, through the brown and the red wire. So there's nothing unusual here. There's also a connection to the light signal on the small decoder board. Now, so nothing unusual so far, but how do we connect these two together? So how do we connect the light signal to the brake module? Well, that's this one down here. You can see down here that you can plug in a plug with 3 wires. Notice it's near a white box. That's actually a white chip that is on the decoder, and that's the one that gives you the hint which one to do. Because look up here, there's another one with 3. That's not the one you use. So you recognize the one you have to use by it's next to a white chip, and it's on the same end as the power or the opposite end of the signal. So what do we do here? Well, these 3, 2 of these are connected over to the decoder part of the brake module. So it actually says decoder here. There's a red, there's a yellow, and there's a green on the brake module, right where it says decoder. So this is where you need to connect them. How do we connect them? Well, the purple wire that comes over here from the signal, that's the red, so you connect that one. Then you got here in the center a wire that's red and brown. That one you connect over, and it goes into the green. Now, what else are we missing? Well, we are missing a power supply too. So you need to have the 16 volt AC power supply here, as I explained in the introduction. And this one needs to be connected as well. Now, AC typically doesn't have any plus or minus like DC, or it doesn't have. However, it can be grounded to one side or the other. In this case here, the non-grounded side, which is the yellow, will go from the power supply, and it will go into the center of the, or to the yellow where it says decoder, which is the center one of the 3 plugs where it says decoder. So this is the non-grounded one. The grounded one, and you see that follows here, the red and green wire goes over here and into the decoder, and it goes into the decoder over here to the side of the decoder. Now, it might be possible for you to see here on the picture that there's a red-brown and a red-green. When you look at the real thing, it's even harder to see than here. Here it kind of looks like there's some red, some green, some red, some green on the wire. That's actually not the case. If you look at the wire, it's red on one side and it's very dark green on the other. So it's hard to distinguish. So the way I look at it, in order to find the red-green, it is actually the one, you see, it's the one that's to the side of the plug. So when you look at it in real life, it'll look like there's a purple and 2 red. So the red-green, when we have a light signal that is to the side of the plug with the 3, so over here, in this case to the left on the picture, is the one that goes over to the power supply and to the side where it's grounded. If you have some of the Märklin power supplies or even the Viessmann 5200, then the grounded is brown and then the non-grounded side is yellow. Now let's look at the semaphore signals. And it's almost the same, except a couple of wires are flipped and the decoder is actually in the base of the signal, as you see down here, and hence the plugs are located at different places. Let's go ahead and look at it. So to the brake module you need to plug in the brown and the red where it says signal module to power it. You need to connect the red wires, one for each section, so the transition section, brake section, and stop section from the brake module. So this is exactly the same as with the light signals. And then we need to power the signal. Nothing special here. You plug in the power where you normally would. It's the only plug that has 2 wires, and then you power the signal. Now let's start looking at connecting up the signal to the brake module. So you do that. You see there's actually here, maybe it's hard to see on the video, but to the right there's 2 wires going in. In the center there's 3 wires. To the left there's 3 wires. You need to connect the 3-wire plug into the center here. And from this one here, you connect over to the decoder side of the brake module. So where it says decoder, where there is a red, yellow, and green. So from the signal over here, the purple, as before with the light signal, goes into the red with the decoder, same stuff. However, now you see here the red-green. So that's the one that's to the side here, that wire that's to the side. It goes over and goes to the green here on the decoder. And the center wire here goes down to the power supply. So the center wire now of the 3 goes over to the power supply. So when you have a semaphore signal, it's the red-brown wire, which is the center of the center 3 plug here. And that one you take and you go over to your power supply, and this is the grounded side of the AC power supply. So this is the brown, and the non-grounded, which is the yellow, will go back into the decoder side of the brake module as the yellow or in the center. So you have to be really, really careful here to make sure that you connect everything up correctly. So when I connect it up, I always connect all the plugs and then I retrace all the wires just to be sure that everything is okay. Let's take a look at how we connect the brake module, which I got here, which is the 72442. Which is the one with the more modern plugs here. Remember the other one, the 72441 is exactly the same. It's just a question of these plugs being different. Let's make a quick look at how we connect it. So here we got the most important connections. We got an S, which is the transition section. We got the braking section, which has this triangle, and we got the stop section at the end. Now, how is that connected to the track? You see I got 3 wires already here. Let's take a look at how it looks. All right. So I have the entire track section here. And as you can see, it starts here with a track before the transition section. So that's here. Everything is always insulated. And as you can see here, I have insulated, let me just zoom in. Can I zoom in? Yes. You can see I have insulated on the inner one here, not the outer one. The outer one is for the track. The inner one is for the center rail and the B or the red, so that's the one we insulate. So this track here is before. This one here is the transition section. You can see the transition section is one slide along, and it's insulated on both sides. And whenever you insulate, you need to insulate both sides of the insulation as well. So here you see the insulation over here from the transition section, and here the insulation on the braking section. We push them gently together. You can turn them around, and then you can see they're insulated here on the inner ones. Excellent. And I have connected one red wire to the B or to the red here on the track here, which is to the center. I always do it to the same side for all wires. So you see here it's to the left side. Then we have, so this section here is the transition. Then we have the braking. It's a longer section, and you can see I have here in the middle of this section, I have also connected a wire. So that's this wire here. It's connected in the same way to the left and to the B on there and the red. And then when you come over here, way over here, I basically have 3 tracks that are the braking section. Then we have here insulation again between the braking and the stop section. Again, there's a red here connected to the B. And then after the stop section, you can see we got insulation to the rest of the track. So let's just put that down again. All right, we're connecting it back to the rest of the track. Cool. And then we have the one here. Then we have the one here. That's the one connected to the transition. We got the one here connected to the brake, and then here to the stop section. If we take the one to the stop section, you can see we have it here. It's the stop here, so I need to connect it to this one here. All right, cool. The next one here, the braking section, goes to the one right next to it, so you can see it's there, and the transition here. I have, unfortunately, my wires are not that long, so I connect them here as well. So exactly like the drawing we saw before, and we connect that in. Okay, so that means we got all the 3 main sections connected to a braking module. What do we need then? Well, we need power. Again, I just have a wire here where I got these ones connected to, and in the other end, such that I can connect them here directly to the track. Again, you don't necessarily need to connect it to the track. You could also connect it to a power bus, so you could have separate power cables from your central station or mobile station. I got the brown here. It goes here on the, let me just zoom in a little. It goes, you see here is a 0, so that's the one furthest away from the edge. And the B here, which is the one closest, so the brown goes on the one furthest away, and you basically just squeeze it on. Okay, you have these things turned up, and you do the same thing here. You see it has something on this side, it's flat on the other. The flat goes towards the bottom, and you again just put it on. And this is the piece of track that's after the stop section. So the stop section is there. This is the braking section over here. So this is the first after. I put it here. I again put it to the left. Why do I always do it to the left? Because if you have made contact track out of these, you might have disconnected between the 2 rails, and then your brown will not work. So I zoom out a little again here again. I got here the red and the brown, and you put those in the signal module or the braking module where there's red and brown. And unfortunately, it's a little hard to see here, but you can see here where it says signal module. It's down here where you got the power, and you basically just connect those as well, exactly as on the drawing. Cool. Now we need to connect the signal. Let me just find that 1 second. So here I have the semaphore signal. Let's look at how we connect that to the brake module. So in the semaphore signal, I'm just going to zoom in here a little. We have here at the end, we have the connectors. And as you can see, there's one here that's connected. This one is just the standard ones we need to connect to the track. So the brown to the 0 and the red here to the B. So we need to give it power. You could also do it from a power bus instead. And then we need to use the connector here right next to the power. So you see there's 2 times, it might be hard to see, there's 2 times 3 here. We need to be able to use this one over here. The cable we need to use is this cable here. And as you can see, it has here at the end 3 holes. You can also see it has kind of a lip here at the bottom, but just as important, which might be hard to see, is it has something here to the side. You see it has something to the side as well. If we look at this one here, you see it has something to the side. The lip here is in the other end, so the lip needs to be away from those, so that will go up. So this one will go in like this. You see, it's like this, and then it needs to go up. You see there's an edge, it needs to go up. So we put that in here, we press it gently, and be aware when you have put it in, it's impossible to get out again. And it will fit, you cannot put it upside down. You see we have 3 wires on here. I got a purple, and then I got 2 that look red. The funny thing is, if you twist these around a little, this one is a little brownish on it, but it's hard to see. So I'll just refer to it as a center wire, and this one here has a little greenish on it. Again, extremely hard to see. So but it is 2 colored. But the way I look at it is, you got the purple here to the left, you got a center red, and then you got another red here. And now we need to figure out how to connect these. So if I start with the purple, I got the purple one here. I got the end. It's one of these. I need to put it on a connector. So we got a connector here. I need to use a red connector so I can connect it to it. And in order to do that, I need to unscrew it just a little. So here you need to unscrew it a little. Be careful not too much, because if you unscrew it too much, the screw will actually fall out. But it needs to be enough so you can push the metal in there, or the end of the wire in there. So you see I got that now here. And then you need to tighten the screw again, and then you try to pull it and see if it works. Now the purple becomes the red. So the red, you put that into your signal or your brake module, and it goes into the red where it says decoder. You need to prepare a yellow wire as well. So I got a yellow wire here, and the other one end is here. That one goes into, let me just turn this a little. It goes into the yellow here where it says decoder. And see it says decoder there, and red and yellow. And then we need one more wire. I didn't notice I didn't connect the yellow one yet. I need one more here, and I need the one here to the left here, which is the red one that actually has, let's say, a green accent on it, 2-color green. And again, you see it's here. To this one here, I need to connect a green plug. So I got a green plug here. I unscrew it a little so we can get something in there. All right. We take the wire and push it in. I think I got it here. Okay. We tighten the screw again. Okay. We give it a little tug. Oh, and it fell out. So that's not good. So I didn't do it properly. You need to make sure to get the wire in. Unscrew it a little. Let me see, where did the red one go? I think it's this one here. Let's hope that's the right one. We try it again. We put it into the hole here. Okay. And then we tighten the screw. Okay. We pull it a little. All right, you can see it's a little darker here, the wire here, and the red there. It's supposed to be green. So that is the wire furthest to the right, which is opposite the purple. And we take that one and we connect into the green here on the brake module. So the purple goes to the red. We have a yellow one we need for something else, and the one that's furthest to the right, the red one, goes into the green and goes into there. So here I got a power supply. The power supply I got here It'd be hard to see. It's a Viessmann. Yeah, of course I put it upside down. It's a Viessmann 5200. Unfortunately, I cannot really flip it, so it's Viessmann 5200 I'm using here. What you basically need is a power supply that can give you 16 volts. You can use some of the old analog Märklin transformers, just use it brown and yellow. And the cool thing here with the Viessmann here, the 5200, is it has brown and yellow for what you need to do. You can actually see here, yeah, I know it's upside down, 16 volts is brown to yellow. It can also give 10 volts, and it's important, it's AC, right? So 16 volt AC. It can give that between the brown and the red. So I need to use the brown and the yellow because I need a 16 volt power supply. Basically the yellow that we mounted before, that comes directly here, you see it comes over from the yellow on the decoder on the brake module that we plug into the yellow on the power supply. And as it is AC, I guess if you have another power supply that's AC, it doesn't matter which one it is. If it distinguishes between zero or mass, then it's not that one, it's the other one. Then we got here a red wire, and let me just move this a little closer again. So remember this one here, I'll zoom in. We have here the 3 wires. We got the purple, and we got a red in the center, and then we got one red to the right. Remember the red to the right, we put a green plug on, and we put that into the decoder where it's green. Now we need to have the center one here, so that's this one here. You see, it's this one here. Can you see that? That one there. We need that one connected to the 16 volt power supply. I'm zooming out a little again here. So, and that goes into the other end of the, in this case on this Viessmann, it's the brown, but basically it goes to the other part of the power, your 16 volt AC power supply. Okay, so should we try and repeat what we have here? I have here my signal. I have 2 plugs. I have the one that gives power. I haven't plugged that in yet. I will do that afterwards. And yes, I'm doing all of this without power on. I have here the extra plug with 3 wires. The purple goes to the red on the brake module. The center red goes to one of the outputs on your 16 volt AC. And on my Viessmann, that's the brown one. And then I got here another wire to the right from this one here. I plugged in. That one goes to the green. On my brake module, I got the red that comes from the signal, which is the purple wire. I got the yellow. The yellow goes here, and it goes over to my 16 volt power supply. By the way, the red and the yellow here, that's actually that's Märklin color coding, or I should say brown, and yellow here, that's Märklin color coding. And you can see that that's what you use for light on the old Märklin transformers. This Viessmann follows the same ones, so the yellow goes to the yellow. If you don't have colors on your power supply, it just needs to go to one of them, and the brown or the other part of the AC will go back into your signal here. Now let's try it out. So I put some extra track down here to mark where the different sections of the we have insulated for the braking module is. So up here we got a very short transition. Then we got 3 track length of braking, and then here where I have this one turned crooked, that's actually where we have the stop section here. And as you can see, I got a locomotive over there. So since we got a locomotive here and it has sound, let's start up the sound, because that's the cool thing about the braking module, is that we can stop in front of a signal and it will still have its sound on. You can hear the locomotive starting up. I'll give it some speed such that when it gets ready, it will go. Right now, I don't know how easily you can see it, but if I zoom in a little, You can see this one is actually sticking up, so the semaphore is actually on green. And now the locomotive has started moving. And now it should just pass the signal. You can see it have a decent speed. Now I will turn the signal red. Okay, and let's see what happens. And you can see it brakes nicely. Hence it actually worked. You heard the decoder actually even came with a little braking sound. I can zoom in on the signal. You can see here it is actually right now on red. So now what will I do? Let me try and set it to green, and then we should see the locomotive start up again. So I turn it to green. You see the signal move, and now you see that it actually starts up again. So we actually succeeded in making it working. The only thing, perhaps I'm going to put it on stop again, that I didn't show was that the signal here, the two red and brown wires, I just connect them like I usually do. I have connected them to the track. And you saw again it braked. Now let's look at how we connect the light signal. Let's look at how we connect the light signal. So I got a light signal here. And it's actually a multi-aspect light signal. The light signal I got here is actually the 76493. I think, I don't remember if this is an entry or exit signal, but actually I think it's an entry signal. But it has three aspects. It has basically proceed and stop, and then it has proceed slowly. In this case here, remember when it's light signals, we have the decoder in a little box here. So let me just see if I can take it out. So we have the decoder here. Remember, don't touch the electronics if you can avoid it. You can see I connected one end to the track, and that's the usual. The red goes to the B, which is closest to the edge, and the brown to the O, which is furthest from the edge. And you can see that here. And then at the other end of the decoder, that's where we have the signal itself. So that's connected using this wire here. Now we have to use the same wire as with the semaphore signal. So that's this one here. Let me just zoom in. So you can see there's a lip up on the top, and there's kind of an edge here to the side, which can be hard to see. You can see it here. There's an edge, this lip to the top. We look at the decoder. You see there's a big white box here. That's actually that's the connector we need to use, closest to that one. You can see there is an edge here. So that's actually the edge you can see here. That edge is actually to the top, so that means the lip you see here needs to go down. So it needs to go in like this. You basically just press it in, and again you're careful here, don't touch the electronics. You see it went in here, and now we need to connect the wires to the braking module. We have the purple wire here. And you see the purple wire that comes from the connector I just connected in. That's I have already connected to the red connector. Do remember you basically unscrew the screw and put in the wire. You tug it to make sure it's connected, and then you will actually connect it to the brake module over here where it says decoder, and there you connect it to the red. So let me just do that. All right, so that's connected. Now we got here, let me just see the decoder here. Let's zoom a little in. We got another two wires here, two red wires. We got one red in the center. That one is actually red and brown, and the other one is red and green. Now, when we had the semaphore, we took the center and took to the power supply. That's actually not what we need to do here. We actually need to put the green on the center. when it's a light signal. Most confusing. So we have that here, and then I just need to find my plug. I got it here. Of course it fell on the floor. So we have the plug here. Okay. I loosen the screw a little here. Remember, don't loosen it too much because then it falls out. And then you can basically take the wire and you can put it into the hole here, and then we need to tighten it again. All right. Am I succeeding? Yes, I am. So we tighten the screw again. We pull it. Make sure there's a connection. Yes, there is. Again, we can connect that to the brake module. We do that on the decoder green, and we have that one now. So now we got that connected there as well. Now we need to connect up the power supply. We need a yellow connector to a yellow wire, and I have nothing but bare wire here in the other end. So the yellow goes into where it says decoder on the brake module where it's yellow. All right. And then the yellow here goes into a power supply. So I got a power supply here. I know it's upside down. It's a Viessmann 5200. You basically just need a 16 volt AC power supply. This power supply gives 16 volt when you use the brown and the yellow, and that's the same color codes as the Märklin power supplies, the old ones, where you had analog, where you used the yellow for light. So we need to plug the yellow from the brake module, from the decoder on the brake module, into the yellow of the power supply. And then we go back to our decoder again. So that was the center one. Now we need the other red here, and you see the purple is here to the right. Then the other red to the left of the plug we just plugged in. We find the other end. It is here. And what do we do with that one? That one basically goes in to the other plug for the 16 volt power supply. In this case, I have a power supply here where it's the brown, right? Do remember the power supply needs to be 16 volt AC, and AC does not, like DC, has a red or black, so it doesn't matter which way you plug it in. This one here follows the Märklin color coding, where the brown is actually the zero or the mass, and then yellow is the 16 volt. Let's just review the wires. So over from the brake module, we got the yellow. The yellow goes to the power supply. In this case, there's a yellow on this power supply I have here, 16 volt AC. The green over here from the, let's start with the red. The red is the purple wire. The purple wire comes from the little connector here on we plugged in. So that's the purple on here on the little connector. Then the center one here goes back into the brake module, which is and is the green. And that one, and then the final wire we got here on the three wire connector we plugged in, the one here to the left, that actually goes to the power supply to the other side of the 16 volt. In this case here with my Viessmann, it's a brown. It will be the same if it's a Märklin analog power supply. Now let's try it out. I have powered everything back on, and then I put a few tracks here next to the track just to indicate which section is which. And you can see over here, there's first the transition section, then we got the braking section, which is 3 tracks long, and then I got the stop section here, which is 1 track long. And then I got the locomotive over there. We have here the signal. Let me just see if I can zoom in on it. You can see now it's green. That can then of course turn red. So when it's red, I would expect it to stop. If it's green, I would expect it to continue. However, this is a 3-aspect signal, so it also has proceed slowly. So this is the green and yellow here. And here I would also expect it to continue. So the way the signals work in connection with the brake modules is if it's stopped, then it will brake. If it's anything else, then it will let it continue. And that also makes sense because you should be able to pass the signal here when you have proceed slowly. Unfortunately, the signal cannot control how fast the train goes. So let's just do a green here and let's see what happens. I'm gonna zoom out again here. I'm going to start up my locomotive with sound, because remember, that's the advantage here of the brake module, is that it will actually automatically brake and it will be able to still have sound and everything on. So that's what's really nice. I'm giving it a certain speed such that when it gets ready, it will automatically start. And I think it's almost ready. The engine is on. And we see the locomotive start moving. And then remember, the signal is now green, so it should pass. And we see that. So now I take the signal here and I set it to red, so you can see it's red now. Let's see what happens. And the locomotive brakes. It was almost out of the brake section there. So now what I could do is here, I could put it back to green, but let me try and put it back to the proceed slowly instead. So that's this one here. You see green and yellow, and then the locomotive starts up and continues. And we can see it happily goes around. And when it comes back, since I still got here green and yellow, you can see it will continue past it. Let's try one more time to make it red. So, that's here. No, I goofed up. Let me try one more time. It just passed. There's red. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. And now we should have it. So if I have the signal over here, then it should stop in front of the signal. And we see it does that. Most excellent. All right. That actually worked pretty nicely. We saw the locomotive come in front of the signal. We saw it actually brake. There's sound on, there's braking sound and everything. Don't forget that it needs to be a decoder that supports the brake module as well for this trick actually to work. Please do remember to go back to episode 12A, beginners episode 12A, which more in depth talked about the brake module. Now, was it hard to do? Yes and no. To me, I think there's a lot of wires. You need to have your 16 volt AC power supply as well, so you need one of those that can provide power basically for the section or the brake section when it's red, so there will be power to the locomotive. In the episode 12A, I showed you how to do it with the M83, and to me that's more simple, intuitive wiring. You needed a lot of wires, you needed a lot of plugs as well, so you need to get a hold of those in order to do it. You needed to find your wire with 3 prongs or the 3 holes, or with 3 wires that plugs into either directly into the box on the semaphore or to the decoder on the light signals. And what is confusing here is there's 1 purple and 2 that look almost identical, the red ones, so be careful not flipping them around. And to make matters a little worse, it had to be one way on the semaphore signal and a different way on the light signals. So this method with the braking module works for all the Märklin signals that I talked about in the video from the table overview. Basically the idea is whenever it's red, it will activate the braking module and the locomotive will brake. So if you got a block signal that has proceed, which is green, and stop, which is red, then when it's red, it will brake. If you have other type of signals that might include proceed slowly, then it's only when it's red it will brake. Which also makes sense, because if it is proceed slowly, you should be able to pass the signal as well. However, I would say the braking module is very useful. It is a little hard to connect with the signals, but I think it's well worth it if you would like the trains to brake by themselves when you actually turn the signal red. If you have a central station tree, don't forget you can also use events or other things to help you as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel. It's very rewarding when I actually see that people like the videos and subscribe. If you subscribe, it also means more viewers will come to the channel as well. And that way we can hopefully better tell each other about the hobby. So I really hope you come back, and see you around.